Here we have verse 2 of the 15th chapter of the Gospel of John. Jesus has launched into the conversation, well known, of course, in the New Testament concerning the vine and its branches. And he's already told them in verse 1 that he is the vine and that his Father is the husbandman, which we indicated at that point uses a word that actually means the owner, which would be to be expected. Now he moves into a discussion of those who are connected to Christ, likening them to branches. Branches, of course, growing out of the vine. So we have pon. This is an adjective. It means all or every. In the singular, usually every. It's in the accusative, neuter singular, because it's standing as the direct object of the verb, which is way down here. So we have every, the adjective, modifying the noun klema, which is the word for branch. It's very rare in the New Testament. In fact, this is the only context in which we find this particular word used. There's another word for branch, which will refer to branches of a tree, something more on that order, but this is the branch that grows out of a vine in connection with a vineyard. And so every branch, accusative, in preposition takes the dative. Here's the first person singular dative pronoun, so every branch in me, and then may, the negation used with non-indicative moods, which is what we have here. This is a participle. It's the present active participle, masculine singular nominative, and it's actually the accusative, masculine singular accusative, I should say, because it's associated with the branch here. So every branch in me not bearing. And then karpon, fruit. So every branch that doesn't bear fruit. Arai, this is from iro. I take up or I take away. It can mean either one, and it may have some slight bearing on how the verse is interpreted. Normally rendered as I take away, as if removing it from the situation. So every branch in me not bearing fruit, he, third person singular, present active indicative, takes it up or takes it away. Auto in the neuter here, the third person pronoun, again referring back to the neuter noun, klema, which is branch. So he takes it, that is the branch, away. And then in parallel to that, kai, the connective, pon, same word, every. And then to, the neuter, accusative, singular article, the karpon, the fruit. So every, the fruit bearing, same as here. The fruit bearing one, impliedly referring back to a branch. Every branch bearing fruit. Kathare, this is from kathairo, I cleanse. But it was also used in agriculture for I prune, and of course that's the idea here. Purging something is in pruning it. So every bearing fruit branch, he cleanses or he purges. Auto, hit, same as there, referring to the branch. Hina, the connective that takes the subjunctive, which is what we have here, in order that karpon, same as there, the fruit, pleona. Pleona is an adjective. It's the masculine singular accusative, referring to fruit. It's comparative. It means greater fruit, so it's the idea in order that greater fruit or more fruit. Fere, this is the same as, it means to, it's the word for pharaoh, which means to bear or to carry something. The word ferry comes from this. This is the third person singular. It's the present active subjunctive, so in order that it may bear more fruit. So we have two dispositions here. We have branches in Christ that don't bear fruit, and they are taken up, which some have taken to suggest that are lifted up in order that they might have more sunshine, that they might have more of a healthy access to the nutrients that are available, and so it would be more of a redemptive idea. The idea of being taken away would suggest that these are branches that are in Christ, but not really. You might say someone who's a member of the church, but not a true believer would be the idea. and ultimately those are the ones that would be taken away on a permanent basis, which does in the context seem more likely to be the sense of this text, because certainly down in verse 5 he's going to suggest that there's a kind of final disposition, that these are taken away and burned, which is not the kind of thing that would suggest a redemptive purpose there. But one way or another, the idea is that there is some kind of response to branches. Some are going to be helped to bear more fruit, but the ones that are fruitless are going to be somehow removed. That seems the most likely sense of what's going on.